Hello and welcome to Project Management Simplified. I'm Gayatri Bakshi Sharma and I am going to start lesson 2 on MS Project Beginner Series. In this lesson, I am going to cover following topics. Number one, I am going to help you start a new project. Then we will look into creating calendars. That means customizing calendars to add holidays and year offs. And then we are going to create WBC. And then lastly, I am going to help you know how to create task and different task options that MS project offers. So let's go for it. All right, so where we are here in MS project, so we will start with selection of a new project. So I am using blank project to create this project. So this is my project sheet. So before I begin with any entry into this task board, I am going to first customize my calendar. So in order to customize your calendar, what you can do is you can just go to this project option, and from this project option you can go to this option, which is change working time. So when you hit on this change working time, it gives you the standard calendar, which is a calendar normally associated with all the new projects that you are going to start with MS project. You have option of creating new calendar, which is absolutely as per your preference. That means you can customize almost everything on that calendar, starting with working days, working hours, preferences. Some companies do work on Saturdays and Sundays, so you can include Saturdays as your working days instead of using standard project calendar, which offers Saturdays and Sundays as non-working days. All right, so I am taking this standard project calendar and customizing it to include all the holidays that my company has for the month of December. All right, so I am going to start with the entry of a Christmas holiday, which is on 25th of December. 25th is falling on Monday of this year, so that should be a holiday which should be marked on the calendar so that no task is allocated on that day. So I am going to start with the entry. I say Xmas holiday, and I am going to define when it is gonna start and define when it is gonna day end. So if I want to give Xmas holidays for more than a day, so what I can do is I can increase this finish date, because some of the companies normally used to have this shutdown period. So if your company has shutdown period for, let's say, till 31st of December, and Saturday Sundays are not working days for your company, so what you can do is you can select a range from 25th to 29th to accommodate all those holidays, Christmas holidays. So let's say I am going to take from 25th to 29th. That means for a whole week, I am not going to assign or any task for these days. So all right, so this is how I say, and then I am gonna say this is a non-working day. You can see here it has given a legend. Working is gonna be the white one. On the calendar view, you can see that all these white ones are working days. Non-working days are being shown as a gray thing. So at the moment, if you see, Monday is a working day, but when I'm gonna set this to holidays, Christmas holidays from Monday to 29, which is gonna be Friday, all these will become of different color. So I now go and click on this detail, and I say these are my non working days. So Monday, starting with Mondays, and it is not gonna be one day. However, I say it is gonna have a list of days that I want Christmas holidays to show on my calendar. So I say from 25th to 29th, I'm gonna have all non-working days. Okay, and then I hit on okay. So you can see that it has started showing 25th to 29th as non-working days. And I say options, and in options you can see that the normally scheduled time is per day 8 hours, per weeks 40 hours, and days per month is 20 days. However, you can customize your calendar to best suit your requirement. Okay, then I am going to say okay, and uh, that's it for me. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm saying calculate project. So as soon as you calculate project, basically it is gonna be refreshing your screen, and now you can see that from Monday to 29th, which is Friday, all these days has been grayed out. That means Microsoft won't let you assign any task during these days. However, there could be exception that you can manage by yourself. Okay, now once we have set up our calendar, we can start with WBC, WBS. So basically, WBS is work breakdown structure. So you can understand WBS as like you have a big task and you are breaking that big task into small pieces so that you can accurately manage and execute those tasks, and you can see how well you are executing small chunks of tasks. So for example, you have planning of the project, and you have broken down this planning task into different activities. For example, you are creating your scope document, you are presenting your project plan to the stakeholders, you are gonna be discussing your project plan with your development team. So this is gonna be dividing of planning into different tasks. Okay, so I'll tell you how to do that. So before jumping on to WBS, what we can do is I can help you start with creation of tasks. Okay, so I am typically taking an good example of a project which is going to have an initiation phase, planning phase, execution phase, and then closure phase. I am going to take monitoring and controlling as as an activities within the execution. So I am going to give a task as initiation. All right. So this is the default setting of a Microsoft project, that whenever you are creating a project, it automatically schedule it as a manually scheduled task. You can change this to automatic, scheduling task by two ways. Number one is you can just select this option and say auto schedule, and it is gonna be auto schedule. You must have seen this difference when it was manually scheduled. Duration, start date, and finish date, finish was not there. However, as soon as you change this task mode to auto schedule mode, it gave a duration as 1 day and start date and finish date to the current date. So current working day. All right, so now what I don't want to manually set these task mode every single time when I'm adding a task. So what I can do is I have two options. Number one is I can go to this file, I can go to these option, and then from option I can go to the schedule tab, and from here I can say auto schedule. This is one of the option. So this option is going to be setting my setting for the global project. That means whenever I am going to add a new task, it is always going to be auto schedule, and this auto scheduling is going to be picked from all the tasks that I have already added to this task sheet. And so whatever is going to be end date of a previous task, it is going to be taking the new task will take the start date, start date accordingly. All right, this is the one way. And second way is, I'm not doing it at the moment. Second way is that I keep this selected and I just do like we normally do in Excel. I select it and then press my button and then just drag it to the level. So all these tasks will be auto schedule. So the mode of all these tasks would be auto schedule. I prefer to have task mode to be set through option, global option, instead of doing this thing. But these are two different ways. Or you can just select series of tasks and then click on this auto schedule option, which you can find here under task. So there are three different ways you can use this option. Okay. So, as I said before, that I am going to use project phases as my task name. So first one is initiation, and let's say now I have added these, but I don't want them. So what I can do is I can just go to this clear option and I say entire row. So this entire row will get deleted. Now I'm going back to this file option tab, and from option I'm going to schedule my all tasks to be auto scheduled, and I'm gonna hit this. Okay, now if you will see, if I add a new task name, you will see my new task is auto scheduled. Then initiation, planning, execution, and closure. So these are my main tasks that I have created. Now, I want to create a structure wherein I would like to create a work breakdown. So what I will do is I will go to this project, I'll go to this work breakdown, I'll define the code. Here you can define the, what your WBS code would be. So I say my code would be prefix I want to give. This is up on to me if I want to give this or I don't want to give. So I am starting with pro, and then I say my first level is gonna be, my first level of sequence is gonna be numbers, and length would be, I just don't want to go with more than two. So you can see that it is saying pro 1, pro 2, pro 3, and then my separator is gonna be dot. I will have more options which I can choose, but I have selected to use this dot separator. Okay, then if I have second sequence, that means subtask, I again want my subtask to be numbered order. I don't want, because I have already given this code prefix, so it is automatically going to show that when it is going to be a second level task, then how it is going to show to me. And then I'm going to define, okay, two levels, and then I say same separator. Likewise, I can say the third level is also going to be the ordered one, and this again needs to be not more than two length, and then its separator is again the dot one. So, and I have selected these two options, that means generate WS code for the new task and verify uniqueness of new WBS code. So uniqueness of WBS code means that whenever a task will have a WBS code, no two codes will be same, because in case if two tasks are gonna have same code, then there is gonna be a discrepancy. Okay, now I say okay. You will see, although I have created WBS naming convention, but it is not showing here. To see WBS, what I will do is I will go to create a new column called, and I will give column name as WBS. So you will see that my, because this is first level of there is no other hierarchy, it is the first level task, so it has given me the WBS name as 1 2 3 4. All right, so now second thing is, if you want this initiation to have number of tasks under it, so what I can do is I have two options. I'll go to this task option. I can either right click on this planning task and say insert task. It is gonna insert a new row for me. Or I can say, I can just go to this fill option, uh, not the full one. Oops. So I'll tell you about that second option that we can have is we can just go to, bear with me. All right. So second option is that you can go to this task, and then from here you can add a blank row. I was not able to find this option earlier, but now I can see that this task is here. I was just finding. So this task option is there. You can just click on this blank row, and it is gonna be creating a blank row for you. All right. So this is two ways of creating a new task. So there is, okay, then I am going to make this as a subtask under initiation. To create a subtask under initiation or any first level task, what you have to do is you have to indent the task. You can see a left indent and right indent. So if you are gonna be left right indenting a task, it is gonna be a subtask. So now you can see this naming convention has changed from Pro 1.01 because I had given two digit, that is why it has taken O1. If I'll define this as 1, so it would be Pro 1.1. So I'll show you how you can edit this. Okay, so this new task is let's say um, scope statement. In this one, I say in initiation you are preparing a scope statement, and then you are also gonna insert a task in which you can say that I would like to presentation to the client. Okay, now you will see all the task has a same start and finish date. And these two tasks are subtask of initiation. So here also you can see that these are different tasks with the subtask of initiation. Likewise, in planning, I am going to create a task which is gonna say um, uh, development of project plan. And then I'm saying presentation of project plan. And I'm also creating another project saying um, team forming meeting. All right. And these three tasks I am going to put under planning. So I'm just going to be right indenting them, and then these tasks will be going under planning. And in execution, I am going to say that I have, UX designs. Then I say development. And I'm gonna say testing. So, execution, development, testing, all these are going to be under execution. So, you can clearly see that WSBS has started forming for the project. Now, what I'm gonna do is I am going to give the relationship to the task. So I'm saying initiation is gonna be starting from, because this has been planned for the coming Monday, but I don't want my plan to start from Monday. I will have a different start day for my project. So what I will do is I will go to this project. I will say the start date. I will change the start date. I have two ways of doing that. Number one is I can go to this project information, and here I can define my start date, whatever date I want. Today is the current day, current date is the today's date. I want my project to start from, let's say, 18th of December. Uh, or maybe in new year I want to start this project. So I say that I am going to start because my company has shut down from Christmas to first week of January, and I typically want my team to start working on this project from second week of January. So let's say I am going to start 8th of January as my start date. So this is the first way of doing that. And second way is, okay, let me just set this to the 8th of January. And then second way of doing or changing your start date is going to the option. And in option, you can go to scheduling. And in scheduling, you can define when your project is going to start. So All right. So, um, then what I'm gonna do is I am going to schedule my task. Second important thing that you have to do is defining the predecessors. Predecessors are nothing but like when the second task is gonna start. So if my predecessor is predecessor is the previous task, and relationship can be there could be different type of relationship between tasks. It could be start to start, that means both tasks are starting parallelly. Start to finish, that means something starts, second one finishes. Then is finish to start, that means when a task is finished, then only the next task will start. By default, MS Project gives finish to start scheduling relationship, but you can change the relationship when you define predecessors. Okay, but before jumping into predecessors, I would like to show very important option this project MS Project has, that means setting up of recurring task. You know that like in planning phase or in execution phase, project management plays a very vital role, and then in most of the companies give project updates after every, in an interval of 1 week, like every 1 week. So those are recurring tasks that you can set, or any recurring task that your project has, and you want to define those tasks. Instead of going manually, you can define all those tasks for a set duration. So let's say in execution, I'm saying that we are going to have a let's say a weekly status review meeting, and I want to have a recurring task for that. So what I will do is I will go to this task, and you can see a recurring task over here. I'll select this recurring task, and I will say let's say weekly status review connect. And I say this occurs every 1 week, but duration, what is the duration? How long this particular task is gonna be there? So this task is gonna be 1 hour activity. So I'll say 1 hour, and then I want this to be weekly, and I say that my this task is gonna be happening every Wednesday. So I'm selecting this Wednesday, and because every 1 week, or two, if it is going to be twice week, then you can select this every two times per week, and you can select two different days. But I want to set this once a week, and then I am going to start it from, because you see my project is starting from 8th of January, so it has taken start date from 8th of January, and I say this is going to be lasting for 8th January. I am scheduling this project for 4 weeks. So let's say this is gonna be 2nd of February is gonna be the end of my weekly status connect call. And I say, and here is one more option, calendar for scheduling this task. If you want to use any calendar, you can use your standard calendar, because I am using standard calendar for this project, and it is okay. So you will see that it has listed all those WSR Connect for 4 weeks, and duration is of 1 day. And you can see that it has given different dates depending upon the starting date and ending date I had defined in that. And you can see this arrow which define, which if you hover on this says that this task occurs 4 times between this date and this date, and the calendar is standard calendar which is assigned to this task. And on the Gantt chart you can see these tasks which are being plotted on this Gantt chart. Okay, now I say that my initiation is gonna be for 4 days. So I define these 4 days. So you will see that 8 to 11, these 4 days has been defined. I say I am going to take 2 days for scope statement, and I am going to take, let's say, 3 days for scope statement, or maybe 2 days for scope statement. And I'll give a day, I'll take a day to present this to the client, and when this is gonna be happening, because until unless my scope statement won't be ready, I can't present that to the client. So I will say this predecessor is a predecessor of this task is number 2. So as soon as I will define, you can see that this predecessor has been defined. Now I am saying that this task between, you can say these are 3 days, but I have given 4 days duration because I want to give a lag of 1 day. So what I can do is I can click on this, double click on this, and you can say lag of a day. So that means as soon as I'm gonna be finishing with my scope statement, the very next day I'm not gonna start. Rather, I'm gonna take a day, and I'm going to start. I'm gonna give this presentation to the client after finishing my scope statement. So and there is gonna be a lag of 1 day. So this is how you can see that this has defined that a Monday to 2 days for this and 1 day for this with the lag of 1 day. Okay. Now for the planning, I say I am going to take 5 days. All right, 6 days. So I am going to say development of a project plan will be taking me 3 days. Presentation to the client will be taking me a day, and team forming activity will be taking me 2 days, because I will be talking to my team, will be explaining what task has to be done for this project, and other some activities. So I will be taking 2 days for that. And when this activity should be starting, I say that my planning would start when I am be finishing with presentation to the client for my scope statement. Like when I have presented my scope statement to the client, then only I can start with the planning. So what I will do is I will say that predecessor of this activity is gonna be 3. So that means my task will start and this would be presentation to the project plan will be happening after development of the project plan. So this would be number 5. Predecessor of this task would be number 5, and team forming will be starting after finishing of my presentation of project plan to the client. So I'll say this is going to have this predecessor 6. So you will see that when you don't schedule properly, then what it does, it gives you this error, like potential scheduling problem. Right click to solve the problem. You can just right click, and I want to reduce it to a day. Gonna all right. And then, oh, okay, this has been changed to sometimes this does so. Okay, now you will see that this activity is finishing on Thursday. This is starting on planning is starting from Friday, and because it is a 6 days activity, so it is Friday to Friday. If I'm gonna be reducing this to 5 days, this will be Thursday. But here you can say 3 plus 3, 6 days, and I have given 5 days. That means there is a scheduling problem. So if I reduce this team forming activity to a day, then the scheduling problem will be done. Like I will overcome this scheduling problem. So this is how this MS project assist you for scheduling of the task properly. All right. So you see that one important thing when you are creating a project plan is that all the tasks should be should relate. They should have a relationship between each other somehow. Like every task there should be a relationship. Now I say that execution is gonna be taking me let's say this is because this is a 4 weeks plan, so I have already taken almost 2 weeks. So I'll say, okay, this is gonna be taking me how many days? Let's say 10 days. So when I say 10 days, I want this to start after my planning, when my planning is done. So planning is the main level category. So I say 4. So as soon as I give predecessor of 4 to execution, this has auto selected my start date, and basis the number of days it has given me my end days. Now I say that I want, because these are in hours, these are in days, so that's why you can see this duration. Okay, now I say my UX design is gonna be taking 3 days, my development is gonna be taking 3 days as well, and testing would be taking a day. Let's say testing is going to be taking a day, and now I define, because these are recurring ones and recurring is set through start date and end date. However, my UX design would be starting after planning, so that means like it is going to be starting from this day, and development I want to start one day after UX design. So now instead of 19th I can go for uh, 22nd. So as soon as I change this, you can see I had not given any predecessor, rather it has automatically it has automatically took this predecessor. So I say that testing is gonna be starting from it is ending on 24th, so testing would be starting on 25th. All right. So I say the predecessor is 15th. All right. I think. All right. So this is not right. So my UX design would be starting my after my team meetings, which is 7th. So I want this to start from its predecessor should be 4 after my this is done. So you see that it is starting on, and the predecessor of this would be design development would be starting after UX design, so predecessor should be 14 days. However, I want this task to be parallelly started, and I want to change this relationship from finish to start to start with a lag of a day or 2 days. So you see that this activity has been defined with this has been done with 14 SS with 2 days of lag. Now I want this testing also to start on the a day before this development is gonna finish. So what I would say is this is the predecessor, 15 is the predecessor. However, I'm gonna be taking 2 days for these testings. Sorry, this one for the testing, and this is gonna be starting from 15th, which is, and I'm gonna change this relationship. I say that it is gonna have start to start with a lag of a day. Okay, you will see that this activity has been connected to the development. Now closure can be done when three of them, like execution, is completely done. So I will say that closure will be done when my full project has been executed. Execution was 8 on the row number 8, so I'll say execution is the closure is the last date. And now I want to say um, project completion. And this is not a task, this is my milestone that I want to set. So what I will do is, I have two options to set a milestone. First is, if I'm gonna be reducing this day to 0 day, then it will take this as one of the milestone. You can see this diamond sign. Okay, just going back. And second option is that when I select this task and click on this milestone, it will be changing my task to milestone. Okay. So you can create a milestone from here, or you can just define the duration as 0 days to set the milestone. Now I say this milestone is gonna be depending on my closure. So this is my predecessor. So this is a smaller version of the project that you can, project planning that you can create using MS Project. So in this lesson, we learn three key things. Number one is setting up of calendar, customizing your calendar to accommodate all the holidays or work schedule you have. Number second is creating WBS and naming WBS, giving codes to your WBS. Third one is creating new tasks, and then giving create marking a task as a milestone, and deleting or creating more tasks. And then one more section which I would like to show you before we end this session is giving the completion, like, because you have to show what task has been completed. So what you can do is, you can just create a new column, say, and you can say as percentage completed. You can hide a column if you don't want to show a column. You can just simply hide that, and completion. So whenever you are done with something, you can just mark the percentage completed. So I'll say, okay, this is 10% completed. And as soon as you will complete something 100%, this is first level. If I'm gonna be defining planning, which is my first level of WBS 100%, then all these subtasks will be automatically be marked as 100% completed. So I say 100% completed, and you can see a check mark against it. So um, uh, for this lesson, I think we have covered enough, and thank you so much for going with me and learning these key things about Microsoft project. I'll see you soon again. Thank you.